Amiga, do you ever feel caught between two worlds? You cherish your cultural background, but sometimes it clashes with the realities of raising a family in modern America. You might feel pressured to fulfill traditional expectations, yet you crave a life that allows you to be your true, authentic self. If you're a Latina mom nodding your head right now, I see you and I get it. Balanced Motherhood is more than your average mommy coaching program. It's a supportive comunidad designed specifically for you. I understand the unique challenges you face navigating between generations and culturas while forging your own path as a mama. Stop feeling like you have to choose between your roots and your future. Balanced Motherhood empowers you to create a life that celebrates your heritage, embraces your motherhood journey, and prioritizes your own happiness. Spots are limited. Don't miss out on this opportunity to connect with a supportive community and create a more balanced life. Visit the link in the show notes to join the waitlist for the next Balanced Motherhood cohort. I can't wait to meet you. Welcome to the Viva la Mami podcast. I am your host, Jessica Cuevas. I am a mother of two on a mission to help redefine the meaning of motherhood as a modern Latina mom. Motherhood can be a complex journey, interwoven in two identities that often make us feel ni de aquí, ni de allá. Viva la Mami is committed to providing you with knowledge, tools, and support to navigate the challenges and triumphs of motherhood as Latina moms. On the show, we'll be discussing culturally relevant topics that will help inform and empower you in whichever season you are in on your motherhood journey. We'll be joined by Latina moms, experts and professionals who can offer advice, practical tips, relatable stories, and honest conversations. So bring your cafecito as I invite you to be a part of this space as we create comunidad about the exciting and challenging parts of being a mommy. Ahora, vámonos. Hola, hola, amiga. Welcome to the very first episode of Season 3 of the Viva la Mami podcast. I am your host, Jessica Cuevas, and I am the founder and creator of Viva la Mami, which is a community of modern Latina moms who want to redefine their own version of motherhood. And so for those of you who don't know me, welcome to this community of Latina mommies. And for those of you who return back and who continue on listening to the show, thank you so much for being here again. I really appreciate everyone who has been supporting me and not just following me, but also engaging with me as we create and build community and as we redefine our own version of motherhood as well. And so I am very excited to start this very first episode of Season 3. This is not an episode that will be specific to a particular topic, but it's more so of an introductory of the season. And so I am just very excited that there are a lot of changes going on at Viva la Mami. First and foremost, the number of episodes that will be published every week will change. So initially we had one episode a week, but I realized that it makes so much sense to have 2 episodes every week. And that way I can kind of bring it down to like 30 minutes or less. So my goal is to have shorter episodes just because a lot of us are busy moms. Many of us don't really have the time to sit down and listen to a podcast. I mean, that's me. I am also a very busy mom where the only time really that I get to listen to podcasts is when I'm in the shower and whenever I drive, and that is only when the kids are taking a nap in the car. Otherwise, I cannot listen to podcasts because Mr. Dieguito, my 3-year-old, is very talkative and he just wants to have a conversation, which is great. But I don't get to have the opportunity to listen to podcasts. So considering that we are busy moms as it is, I want to be cognizant and I want to be respectful of your time. And so my goal is to not have no more than 30-minute episodes. There may be long form content, specifically when I am bringing guests over. So for the most part, Viva la Mami has been a very guest-centric, if that's even a word, podcast where I get to interview guests on the show for the most part. But even though Viva la Mami is a community of Latina moms where you get to hear and learn from expert advice and such, I thought that for season 3, it could be a little different where I can touch on a variety of topics that affect us as Latina moms. And I can spark that conversation for you. Now, I'm not saying that I am the expert, so by no means am I going to replace people who are experts in the field. In addition, I will still be interviewing guests on the show. In fact, I have an amazing lineup of incredible Latina women who are doing a lot for the community, who are experts in their field, and who I think you should listen, because it can either affect the way that you are as a person, as a mom, as a mujer, right? But it's also about just getting informed on the way that you would like to parent and create your own version of your own motherhood journey. And so in addition to having me as your kind of go-to person, we will also have guests on the show, but not as frequent this time around, just because I will be having more so in-depth conversations with you about a variety of topics. So it is going to be a little different this time around, but I'm just very excited that you will get to hear from me more, that we will be consistent in the conversation about different topics that affect us as Latina women, but more so specifically as Latina moms. So that is one big update that I have for you as it relates to kind of like the format of this podcast. I will still be on Instagram, obviously. The one thing that I am changing this time around is YouTube. You know, I wanted to do it all. I thought that if I am present on this platform and another one, and if I show up here and there, I am going to grow my audience in all of these different platforms. And really, that was exhausting. I literally burnt out, specifically at the end of season 2. And so considering my current season of life as a mom of 2 little ones who are very needy, and that is okay. That's just who our kiddos are. Pero también I am managing my business on my own. I am a solopreneur. I am a mompreneur. And I am my own boss, right? And I get to make the decisions that I want. And so I felt that, okay, what are ways in which I can be more present on the podcast than in other platforms? And so for YouTube, I am not going to publish episodes frequently from the podcast on YouTube. I just felt that there is no need. I'm already here. For the most part, a lot of my listeners, like you all, listen through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all of these podcast platforms and even my website, where I don't have to publish my episodes through a different medium. And so all of the episodes will not be available on YouTube except for episodes where I have guests on. So for any episodes that I have interviews with other guests, I will be publishing them via YouTube, just because it is a little easier for me to do it on the editing side, to just publish the recording of our interview. But for all other episodes, like solo episodes, for example, like this one, I will not be publishing them on YouTube. So that is another big change that is happening on Viva la Mami. And so, as you know, on a personal level, a lot of things have happened these past few weeks. And that is why I am launching this podcast for season 3 in March of 2024. And for those of you who haven't followed me, there were a lot of things that went on, such as we went to Mexico for 3.5 weeks during the month of January. Oh my gosh, I am still like in cloud nine from it. It's going to be a month since we returned, but I loved Mexico. It really gave me a big lesson and learning opportunity to just really understand, appreciate, learn more about the culture. And I had the opportunity to meet other moms, to meet abuelitas who are just so amazing and just hardworking individuals that it just gave me perspective about what the image of a Latina mom is. And we all see this on TV. We all see this on social media, specific images of Latina women that perhaps do not look like you and me. And I'm like, this isn't just the one image that we should consider, right? We should also consider the women that we grew up with, that we know, that we love, and we shouldn't forget about them. And we should appreciate all of the efforts and all of the love that they give to us, that they have given to us. And so I am very excited to have an episode specifically on my observations of badass, hardworking Latina moms in Mexico, just because I think that they deserve to be recognized. And I will have the opportunity to do that through my podcast. So yeah, we went to Mexico for 3.5 weeks. We took our little ones, Diego, our 3-year-old, who actually turned 3 in Mexico, and Mateo, he turned 8 months there as well. Now he's 9 months at the time of this recording, but they were just amazing. I think that Alex and I, my husband and I, were very skeptical at first. I thought we were going to suffer, that we were going to not enjoy Mexico as much as I thought we would, but we did. I mean, they were very adaptable. Yes, there were some tears, a lot of tears. There were a lot of tantrums. Like there were, just like the typical behaviors that you would expect from a toddler and an infant. But for the most part, they were so cooperative. Diego loved it. And the fact that he is a dominant Spanish speaker, he was able to communicate with every single person there. Kids from as little as his age to like people in their 90s. Like it was just amazing to witness the way that he presented himself, the way that he communicated with all of these individuals from Mexico. And this is when I had this like proud moment about myself and Alex, that a lot of people are like, well, it's really hard to raise bilingual kids, or people don't know how to. And really, it's just a matter of investing yourself in that, in terms of being persistent and being consistent with raising Spanish-speaking bilingual kids. And all what it takes is just exposure. All what it takes is just like having those books read to them in Spanish, or even showing the TV shows in Spanish. And even though it sounds funny because it's not like organic, it's still going to be a learning opportunity for our kids to really be exposed to the language. Abuelita, abuelito shouldn't be the ones that should be responsible, to raise bilingual Spanish-speaking kids. It should be our part as well, especially if you are interested in teaching your kids Spanish. So that is another episode that I want to do as well, just so that you can learn a little bit more about what it takes to raise bilingual kids, specifically Spanish-dominant kids. And so, yeah, we went to Mexico, and that was an amazing trip. We went to Oaxaca, Michoacán, La Ciudad de Mexico, and we were mostly in Guanajuato, which is where my family is from. And again, we just had an incredible time. However, coming back, we were in this full like moving mode. We didn't even unpack our bags. We were like, let's leave to the city because our place was ready. So we were very fortunate to have our 1-bedroom apartment ready. And for those of you who do not know what has been going on these past few months. If you haven't followed me or if you are new here, we used to live in a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house in the suburbs of Chicago. But now we are in the city. So in December 2023, my husband and I bought a 3-flat multifamily building where we first thought of it as like utilizing it as an investment property. But through much thought and really, it was more so of an opportunity for us to do this now because our kids are little. We were like, why don't we house hack? Why don't we sell our current house? Whatever we gain from that house, we put it in savings and we moved to this 3rd-floor unit that was vacant at the time. And even though this was a very, very scary decision, I am so glad we made this decision because we are basically mortgage free. Yes, we still have a mortgage because this property is ours and we have to rely on our tenants. But with the 2 other units that are being rented, they pay for our mortgage. And so we are not paying nothing on housing except for utilities and our living expenses. And this allowed me to quit my 9-to-5 job. For those of you who didn't know of this or again are new here, I decided to quit my 9-to-5 job when I would have returned back from maternity leave when I had Mateo in May. So this was in September, around the same time when we decided to sell the house. And I couldn't think of this as just like a perfect time to do this leap of faith and focus my time with the kids. So now I am a stay-at-home mom, which is very exciting. I never thought that I would be a stay-at-home mom, but it's also allowed me to focus on my business here at Viva la Mami. And I am very excited to grow this, not just like this business, but this community as well. Recently, I went to a summit which was hosted by Karina Mora, which is the host of Elevating la Cultura, and Giovanna Rosales, who is an amazing Latina woman in tech. And I attended their first summit, which is called Latina Brilliance Summit. And I was just very empowered by all of the Latina women that were in the room. Many of them took that leap of faith of quitting their 9-to-5 jobs, leaving the careers that they thought that they loved, leaving their passions, and then turned it into a new passion. And sometimes as women, we were conditioned to think, to have this limited mindset, to not dare yourself and have the courage to do something different. We always heard this constant narrative, calladita te ves más bonita, right? Where we couldn't even put in our opinions out on the table. And just knowing that many women like me who decided to take a big leap of faith of like literally leaving something that they once had for comfort, for convenience, and doing something radical and doing something different and trusting ourselves in doing it, I think that that is amazing. And I'm glad that I was in that room, and I'm glad that I'm getting the support from not just La Comunidad on Instagram and through this podcast and my website and newsletter, but also through my family and friends. And so I'm just very thankful that I am having this opportunity and really not just to amplify my voice in the lens of a Latina mom, but also helping others amplify their voices as well. And so even though you will be hearing a little bit more of me, I'm excited for you to get to know me, obviously. And you're also going to get to hear from other experts and guests and Latina moms who are also going through the struggles of finding this balance between being a Latina and being a mom here in the United States. And so I'm very thrilled that a lot of changes will be coming with Viva la Mami, and I am very excited to announce new initiatives that are pretty soon going to happen. And so please stay tuned. I would really appreciate you if you continue to support me and follow me, whether if it's on Instagram or joining my newsletter, following up with me, whether if it's on DMs or via email, know that my door is always open. I'm always willing to hear more of you and your journey, especially as you're going through the trenches of motherhood, because I know it is hard. It is very, very hard. I cried so many times these past few weeks from ever since we came back from Mexico, because it has been an overwhelming roller coaster as we literally came to this place where there was still dust from the construction, from the remodeling of the home. And now we're sitting down and we are comfortable, right? And so, yes, there were so many emotions. And that is also the same way that we all go through as moms. We go through all these different chapters, all of these different seasons of our life as moms. And so this is why I built this community. This is why I built this platform, so that you are not alone in your journey. And that way we can build from what we hear and learn through the lens of the Latina perspective. There are so many platforms out there about motherhood and, parenting stuff, and which is great. I think that all of this is very informative. And trust me, I also follow all of these pages and podcasts and everything, but there is a big gap missing, and that is providing the Latina perspective. Latina moms are very unique. We know that our stories are very unique. We know that our experiences are very unique. And when you bridge our cultura, even our sazon into it, when you bring in all of this kind of duality between being a Latina and a mom, it is a very unique experience. And this is why I created this platform. And this is why I'm here. And I'm not leaving. Okay. Even though there have been many moments where I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And the imposter syndrome has gotten into me too. But over time and through conversations that I've had with other mujeres and moms, they are the ones that are pushing me. They are the ones that are uplifting me to strive more and do more and give back, and just ultimately to build this comunidad with you all. So anyway, I'm going on tangents right here, but I am just very excited to start this new season of season 3 of the Viva la Mami podcast. I am very excited to be here more frequently now, 2 times a week. So please don't forget, I will be here every Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 6 a.m. And that way you can listen to me, you can follow up with me. Like I said, I'm an open door, I'm open ears. And that way we can just experience motherhood the way it should be. And that is our own version of motherhood, no one else's. All right. Well, I am thrilled for you to be here. If you can do me a favor, follow me on Instagram, which is Viva la Mami. And also, please, please, please rate this show and put in a review. That way, listeners like you and I, aka Latina women, can hear and learn more about Viva la Mami. It is important to advocate and support Latinas and know that I am here in community. I am here to collaborate. I am here to be with you in your journey. So yes, please do me this big favor and share this with an amiga, with another mom, especially a new mom who is kind of navigating her new identity as a Latina mom. And I would truly appreciate it. All right, amiga, thank you so much. And I will see you in the next episode. Mujer, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to the Viva la Mami podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, will you do me a favor and follow the podcast and leave a rating and review? Hitting that follow button and reviewing my show will allow other mommies like you find this podcast. Your review will also tell me if you enjoy the show, so I would truly appreciate your thoughts. Don't forget, please share this podcast con tus amigas. Also, make sure to follow me at Viva la Mami on Instagram or visit vivalamami.com. Please note the information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as professional advice. Okay, mujer, thank you for joining y nos vemos in the next episode.